Kidman filed for divorce from her husband of 19 years.
Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban seemed like Hollywood's perfect couple for nearly 20 years. Their love story had everything fans craved. Two talented Australians finding each other in Los Angeles, building a family, and supporting each other through fame's ups and downs. But their recent separation has shocked fans who truly believed in their fairy tale romance. Now rumors about Keith's behavior with his guitarist have been swirling through Nashville and Hollywood circles. Nicole's emotional breakdown at recent events tells a completely different story than the one we've been seeing. The truth behind their perfect marriage is finally coming out, and it's messier than anyone expected. The perfect marriage facade. Their story began like something out of a movie. In January 2005, Nicole and Keith met at the G-Day USA Gala in Los Angeles. The event celebrated successful Australians making it big in America, and these two stars seemed destined to find each other in that crowded room. Nicole was already an Oscar winner, while Keith was rising fast in country music. Their connection felt instant and real. The 2006 wedding in Sydney was called a fairy tale by media outlets worldwide. Nicole walked down the aisle in a stunning Balenciaga gown, while Keith waited with tears in his eyes. The ceremony at Cardinal Coretti Memorial Chapel was intimate but magical, with stained glass windows casting colorful light on their vows. Friends and family flew in from around the globe to witness what everyone believed would be a lasting love story. But their early marriage faced serious challenges. Keith's addiction struggles nearly destroyed everything just months after their honeymoon. He entered rehab for 3 months, and Nicole's unwavering support during this dark period became part of their legend. She stood by him when many wives might have walked away, proving her commitment ran deeper than Hollywood marriages usually do. Public appearances always showed them holding hands and smiling. Whether they were at award shows, movie premieres, or Keith's concerts, they seemed genuinely happy together. Nicole would beam with pride watching Keith perform, while he'd dedicate songs to her from the stage. Their body language screamed devotion. The way they looked at each other, touched each other's arms, whispered in each other's ears during interviews. Nashville became their sanctuary, away from Hollywood chaos. They bought a beautiful farmhouse where they could raise their family in relative privacy. The city's music scene welcomed Nicole, while Keith found peace away from the touring circuit. They attended local church services, shopped at farmers markets, and tried to live as normally as possible despite their fame. 2 daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, completed their family picture. Born in 2008 and 2010, these girls became the center of their world. Nicole often spoke about how motherhood changed her priorities, while Keith wrote songs inspired by watching his daughters grow up. Family photos showed genuine happiness: beach vacations, birthday parties, quiet moments at home. Keith's songs dedicated to Nicole painted the picture of a devoted husband. Tracks like The Fighter became anthems about their relationship, with Keith publicly crediting Nicole for saving his life and making him a better man. He'd perform these love songs while she watched from backstage, both of them glowing with what looked like unbreakable connection. Red carpet moments where they gazed at each other adoringly became iconic. Fashion magazines loved photographing them because their chemistry was undeniable. Nicole would adjust Keith's tie, he'd whisper something that made her laugh, and cameras captured every tender moment. They made other celebrity couples look fake by comparison. The entertainment industry praised them as a rare example of lasting celebrity love. Talk show hosts would mention them as proof that Hollywood marriages could work. Other stars looked up to their relationship as goals. They seemed to have cracked the code on balancing 2 massive careers with genuine partnership. But behind closed doors, cracks were already forming that nobody wanted to see. The cheating rumors and Keith's betrayal. Keith's touring schedule kept him away from home for months at a time. While Nicole stayed in Nashville raising their daughters, Keith was traveling across the country and internationally with his band. The High and Alive World Tour meant he was constantly surrounded by musicians, crew members, and the intoxicating energy of performing night after night. But somewhere along the way, the distance between him and Nicole became more than just physical miles. Rumors started circulating about his relationship with guitarist Maggie B.A. At first, it seemed like typical tour gossip, the kind of whispers that follow any band on the road. But sources close to the band noticed inappropriate behavior during tours that went beyond professional collaboration. Crew members started talking about how Keith and Maggie would spend extra time together after shows, how their interactions seem more personal than musical. Nicole tried to ignore the whispers, but evidence kept mounting. Friends in Nashville started hearing stories from people connected to Keith's tour. Phone calls between Nicole and Keith became strained, with him deflecting questions about his time on the road. She'd ask about specific shows or cities, and he'd give vague answers or quickly change the subject. The man who used to share every detail of his performances suddenly became secretive about his touring life. Keith's recent interviews show him uncomfortable discussing Nicole in ways that fans immediately noticed. During a July interview with Ryan Seacrest, Keith seemed to freeze when asked about his wife's career. He gave short, awkward responses and looked like he wanted to escape. In another radio appearance on Australia's Gold 101.7, when asked about the day he met Nicole, he seemed distant and unsure. When the host asked if he believed in fate bringing them together, Keith just said, "No idea," and tried to move the conversation along. Changed lyrics during performances hint at guilt and regret that Keith couldn't hide from his audiences. Fans noticed he'd alter words in The Fighter, the song he wrote about Nicole, making it sound less romantic and more conflicted. During several concerts, he appeared visibly emotional while singing love songs that used to bring him joy. His wedding ring, which he'd worn proudly for nearly 2 decades, started disappearing from his performances. Maggie's father quickly denied rumors when they became public, but the damage was already done. He told reporters that his daughter's relationship with Keith was purely professional and that people were reading too much into their musical collaboration. But by then, the speculation had reached Nicole's inner circle, and friends were asking uncomfortable questions about what was really happening on those tours. Nicole's friends say she confronted Keith multiple times about affairs throughout 2025. These weren't casual conversations, but serious discussions about their marriage and the rumors swirling around his behavior. People close to Nicole described her as devastated, but determined to fight for their relationship. She believed their nearly 20-year marriage was worth saving, even if Keith seemed to be pulling away. Keith allegedly moved out of their Nashville home in summer 2025, though they kept the separation private for months. Sources say he rented his own place while claiming it was temporary, just to give them both space to think. But friends knew this was the beginning of the end. The man who had once credited Nicole with saving his life was now creating distance between them at the exact moment she needed his support most. Divorce papers filed in September cite irreconcilable differences, but industry insiders reveal a more complex story. Keith wanted out as Nicole's career resurged with critically acclaimed projects. While he was dealing with cheating rumors and personal struggles, Nicole was experiencing a renaissance in her acting career that reminded everyone why she's considered one of the best actresses of her generation. His discomfort with her success in projects like Baby Girl became obvious to people around them. The film, about a CEO having an affair with a younger man, seemed to make Keith uncomfortable in ways that surprised those who knew how supportive he'd always been of Nicole's bold career choices. His absence from the movie's promotional events was glaring, especially since he'd always been her biggest cheerleader at premieres and award shows. Sources say Nicole fought to save the marriage while Keith checked out emotionally. She suggested couples therapy, tried planning romantic getaways, and even considered taking a break from acting to focus on their relationship. But Keith had already mentally moved on, leaving Nicole to face the reality that the man she'd stood by through addiction and career struggles was abandoning her when she needed him most. The betrayal wasn't just about potential infidelity. It was about Keith giving up on nearly 2 decades of partnership without really fighting for what they'd built together. Nicole's emotional breakdown and moving forward. Recent public appearances show Nicole visibly distressed and tearful in ways that break fans' hearts. At film premieres and industry events, she's maintained her professional composure, but photographers have captured moments when her pain shows through. Her eyes look tired, her smile seems forced, and there's a fragility that wasn't there before. The woman who always appeared unshakable now looks like she's barely holding it together. Her sister Antonia has become her main support system during this devastating period. The two have always been close, but now Antonia is practically living with Nicole, helping with the girls and providing emotional stability. Friends say Antonia flew in from Australia as soon as the separation became serious, dropping everything to be there for her sister. Having family support has been crucial for Nicole as she navigates this public humiliation. Nicole's determination to protect their daughters from the scandal shows her strength as a mother. Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret are teenagers now, old enough to understand what's happening, but young enough to need protection from the worst details. Nicole has worked hard to maintain their normal routines, keeping them in their Nashville schools and shielding them from media attention about their parents' marriage falling apart. She's focusing on her career and upcoming film projects as a way to channel her energy into something positive. Work has always been Nicole's refuge during difficult times, and now she's throwing herself into new roles with renewed intensity. Her upcoming projects are generating awards buzz, proving that even during personal turmoil, her professional instincts remain sharp. Keith continues touring, but fans notice his wedding ring is gone and his demeanor has changed completely. He performs with raw emotion that sometimes seems more like pain than passion. Concert reviews mention how different he seems on stage, like he's working through something heavy while trying to entertain thousands of people every night. Both are committed to co-parenting despite the betrayal, putting their daughter's needs above their personal hurt. Legal documents show they've worked out custody arrangements that prioritize stability for Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret. Nicole has primary custody, but Keith gets generous visitation time that works around his touring schedule. Nicole's strength in handling this public humiliation with grace reminds everyone why she's respected beyond her acting talent. She hasn't badmouthed Keith in interviews, hasn't leaked damaging stories to tabloids, and continues conducting herself with dignity even as her world falls apart. This is how you handle a high-profile divorce when you're a class act. The end of what many considered Hollywood's most solid marriage serves as a reminder that even the strongest-looking relationships can crumble. Nicole and Keith seem like they'd figured out how to make love last in an industry that destroys most couples. But fame and distance can destroy even the strongest relationships when trust breaks down.